focus right now is going to be on kicks at the level 2 and level 3 kind of proficiency level, okay? All right, so we want to kind of start with a review of our stomp kicks in general. So when we say stomp, we're kind of comparing that to anything that creates kind of the leverage from the seesaw type thing or lateral movement along those lines. The stomp is a stomp. Just like if I wanted to break a bottle or a board on the ground, I get my knee up and I just drive my heel into the target as hard as I can. Now, when I am kicking something downward, I have a lot of body weight, but you would never see anybody want to break something and then take their leg back and go like that to break. That just wouldn't happen, right? So a stomp comes very naturally when I'm going breaking something downward. However, no matter what direction I go, the idea is the same. When I start getting away from the ground, then the power comes from the hips. Now, we've thrown a lot in recently about what I sometimes refer to as my microwave moments, heating up something in the microwave, and I stomp forward and advance backwards and then go forward. And it's just a great moment in time just to practice some of those things. So let's review of our standard back kick. So I'm going to start this from a very modified stance. I am not expecting anything to going on, but just for the sake of the drill, I'll go ahead and kind of bring my hands up here. A back kick, I just bring my leg up very, very naturally. My heel to my toe is kind of parallel with this leg right here. On this particular one, I am not lifting the knee up high. That's just going to take more time and maybe even throw me off balance. I don't have to do that. Okay, so I just bring it up here. Again, the reason is because the power is created in the hips. So we'll kind of give you a couple of different angles. I'll turn him this way, and she can be more kind of directly this way. All right, so, okay. Got to keep our social distancing here. All right, so from here, this actually will be harder from a static position than it would be if we actually do the advance. So this would be true. All right, so I'm just going to bring my leg up here. That's all I'm doing. That's number one. It's just up, it's up. Notice that I don't, I keep my hips chambered. In fact, a lot of times when I set this up, I'm going to take my hips the opposite way. I'm going to go and be out here, and that gives me more of a runway. So as I come up, then right now, I'm just going to look to kind of skim parallel to the floor and drive my heel towards the target. I'm going to slightly look over my shoulder, but not turn my hips and shoulder towards the target. That will totally take this away from being a back kick, and it will turn it into a side kick. So I'm just kind of glancing over. I keep in a straight line. Wouldn't hurt to actually even have a line. It's very easy on these mats. Sometimes we can use these lines here, but I'll be here. So I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to drive my hips back as I explosively extend the leg. Up. Good. We have a phrase. Get this in your mind. The hips stay in until the weapon is on its way. The opposite of that would look like this. I got nothing on there. This is where the power comes from. All right, so this is very simple. I'm going to start here in my passive stance. Right here, I'm going to bring the leg up. I will reach around to make sure I have my target. Now, a couple of things. You may not have, obviously you probably don't have a bob at home. I don't need it, okay? I can do these wherever I am. Hey, yes. In fact, You're walking around the house, you see your spouse, hey, her, kick him in the gut. No, just be very careful. I can throw these against surfaces. I just have to be careful. Don't put a hole in your drywall. Small children, great targets.
Absolutely.
If they're around, you can do this.
So then you can really feel great about getting that head shot in and you don't have to be that flexible.
True. Okay, anyway, so whether I have a target or not, this is kind of what I'm doing. I'm here, chamber, and drive it out. Change it, chamber it, drive it out. Chamber it, what? Change it, why do I keep saying change it? Chamber it, drive it out. Notice that my weight for my body is still balanced upon the leg that everything is supported on. So there's not a thrust this way, anything like that, nor is there falling forward, okay? And in fact, as I drive this, I might want to have a little bit of wedge with this foot, so it might slightly be angled that way, just like a chair would be, right? Angled slightly. Now, if I just glance over my shoulder, I will be able to keep my heel up and my toe down. Slightly looking over. Bring it up, out. This is a good balance drill as well.
How is your foot?
Back. What?
Oh, your foot's more like that when you're striking.
It looks
to the side?
To the side?
Oh.
Well, I have some kind of funky feet and hips anyway, so it's not the end of the world if your foot turns totally to the side. In fact, one might argue that this is actually a better strike. Kind of fits in there a little bit easier, but it is a different strike. So we will pull that in towards the end. All right, so it's up, it's out, and then I'm back. Up, out, back. Up, out, and back. Now, I always want to have a little safety margin in here. Whenever I stomp, I don't stomp 100%. Ow. I don't put that kind of strain on my knee, so keep it at about 98.3% extension, whatever you do, especially if you have any joint issues. All right, so I just continue to practice that left and right. Slow. Why is slow good? It checks me on my balance. Is all my weight here? Also, ask yourself, are you striking with the heel? If you end up hitting with the ball of your foot, not the end of the world, but the ball of the foot is meant to be a buffer. It's meant to be like a shock absorber. Okay? I want the heel, which is really, really hard and very, what's the word? Driving through.
Focus.
Ballistic. I want that heel kind of drive in. All right. Now again, keep in mind, the more you turn towards the target, the more you turn the hip and the shoulder, the more this will turn into a side kick. Again, not the end of the world, it's just different, right? Okay, good. Now, when would I throw this? Of course, we could say, oh, I'm fighting one guy here, boom, there's his friend. Okay. But more likely than not, it's out of something that kind of happened. For instance, I'm fighting, all of a sudden, she's trying to get around me, boom, and I throw that strike. Social distancing, keep away from her. No. That's a pretty typical. What if, and we'll just kind of simulate, what if I am getting my upper body handed to you? I mean, bam, oh my gosh, I have nothing here. I've got nothing to counter. All I'm going to do is just simply turn my body around. Look at this position. This is great. My hips are in. Boom! This is just great for clearing some space. Get the hell away from me, right? I don't even have to look back there. I know exactly where she is. So I get the target that they're going for away, and I just drive that sucker out, excuse me. Anyway, so back kick. Now, so that's from a static position. Just driving it in. Be careful about fully extending your leg. Now, one part that will make this stronger is actually to advance into the target. It's nice because this is a long-range weapon. Arguably, the longest that I have, right? Man, I'm extending my body. However, if I punch and I'm really close, sometimes that punch gets bunched up. But when I'm back here, my back kicks don't necessarily suffer so much. I can really be short range and really explosively drive that in here. So it's a good idea. Certainly if this is strong, then me moving towards the target as I throw it is going to be even stronger. So I'm going to start, let's say I want to throw with my right leg, which I feel is slightly stronger, right? So I'm instead of my regular stance, which for me is a right-handed stance, I'm going to go ahead and switch my stance to unorthodox, a southpaw, right? And what that's going to do is allow me to use the other leg to advance in. So maybe I'm standing here, I simply step, now I'm on the ball of my left foot. All right, so we've taken the camera and backed it up a little bit so you can kind of see our foot movement, because now we're going to work the advancing. Now, there's several reasons for this. Number one, obviously, I'm not close enough to the target, so I have to step and get closer to the target to be able to hit it. However, even if I was in range and I could hit it, why not? When I punch, if I advance, I get too close into a punch, it gets kind of bunched up here and it suffers for it. However, a kick is not so much like that. Even I can advance in from here, even though I could hit the target from here, I advance in, boom, and drive it in there, and it doesn't suffer for being closer. So certainly, if I can add the power of advancing, I don't know, 20, 25, 30% more power into it. Okay, here's how we're going to do it. So my feet, this is my normal fighting stance. I'm right-handed. This is orthodox. I'm going to go ahead and switch just so that I can kick with the stronger leg. My right leg. Okay, so I'm going to start back here. Now, I'm up right now, I'm up on my toes, kind of the ball of the foot, and I'm just going to roll on this leg. From this side, it just looks like this. Remember, this was the position that we wanted to get to, right? The chambered point, right? So what I'm going to do is, as I roll back there, I'm going to get into that position. Notice I am not sticking my butt out towards the target. This will be something you will deal with. Your body says get closer to the target, so you want to step and go here. But what was that rule?
Hips stay until you're ready to throw the weapon.
Hips stay in until the weapon is on the way. So here, the weapon hasn't left yet, so my hips should be staying in here, okay? So I'm going to start with that here on the ball of that foot. Check my range here. Go slow at first. I'm going to roll on the back of that foot and bring that leg up. That's one. And then stomp. 1, 2. All right. 1, 2. That is a lot easier to do faster than it is slower. And roll up and strike. Boom. Keep those hips in. If I know the target is there, I don't care about looking, but for the drill's sake, I will slightly glance using my peripheral vision to look over my shoulder. Good. try it from the other side. So now I'm going to roll on my right foot as I chamber my left. And 1 and 2. Need to get close to my target. 1, 2. 1. Okay, good. Now, let's go back. I'm going to go ahead. Actually, I'll start here in my regular stance. So now, as I advance, even though this leg is back, I'm going to advance with the opposite leg, right? And that is going to allow me to use my strong leg. Boom. So before we were starting in this position on the ball of the foot. Now I'm starting here, but I take a step to get on the ball of the foot. Step, roll and chamber, boom. Step, roll and chamber. As with all stump kicks, I say attitude is the most important thing. I want to hurt this target. Good. Remember, I'm being careful not to get that butt way out there like this. Keep it in as long as you can. Good. And time. All right, so what's making this all work together is that it goes in a very, very straight line. There are no, I'm not bringing anything outside of this line. Even my shoulders don't, they're not coming out here. So, what if I'm not at the right angle? For instance, let's say this is a very, very common scenario. I threw a punch here, and all of a sudden, my target, the bad guy, moved off angle. I'm in a difficult place here. I can turn into the fight, throw kicks here. I could throw a side kick, not a problem. But when they are starting to get off angle, I can create that same back kick by getting in line just like I was here. Here's a good example. We'll start this with a very, very slight angle. So this is normal. Let's get in here where I'm about to throw an advancing back kick here. All right? This is what we've been doing. Good. And now I'm simply going to turn towards 10 o'clock. Okay, I'm at 10 o'clock, but he's at 12 to 6, right? So wherever I am, watch this foot. Right now it's pointed towards 10 o'clock. When I step towards the target, I'm just going to get in that line, right? Boom. I'm off angle. I step with the advancing foot, put that heel towards the target, and then I'm set. I don't want all this centrifugal force going on. I just want everything to be right here in my lane. I'm here, I step. Oh no. Make sure we understand this clock range thing, right? Here's 12 o'clock. My target's at 6 o'clock.
It's at 6 o'clock.
Boom.
I'm
Now,
at 10 o'clock.
I'm getting off angle, or he's off angle, well, whichever. I'm towards 10 o'clock. How do I get to 12 to 6? I just step into that lane. Here. Boom. I'm facing this way. I step. And when I step, now I am totally in this one lane. Right here. Stay still, Bob.
Bob is just not taking a beating well today.
Okay, so no matter where I am, oh my gosh, 12, 11, 10. What if I was at towards 8? I'm here, I'm fighting. Maybe, again, this is the scenario. My target most likely moved. Or maybe I threw a kick. Oh my gosh, now look at this. I am way off angle. I can make this kick work off angle by simply stepping back into the lane, the 12 to 6 lane, boom, and drive it in there, okay? Now, so whatever angle you feel comfortable with, of course, at first it will be like here, 10 o'clock. Oh no, step into the lane, throw the strike, right? Then I get over here, whoa. Now, I can't, how do I get this foot here? Do I just step and then turn? You can, but when you step and you turn, you're probably gonna create some centrifugal force for yourself, which you have to learn to adapt to. You have to learn to, whoa, I got this kind of thing going on. But you can start feeling comfortable with that. In fact, at later levels, we start using that on purpose and start throwing heel kicks, right? Which have a lot of centrifugal force, like a hammer fist coming from the side. Okay, but that's not what we're doing now. Right now, we want to be in our lane, right? And that will be the most stable way to throw this strike. So wherever your target is, I'm right-handed, so I'll be on the left-hand side of the clock. I could even be towards, here's 7 and 8 o'clock. Oh, I'm over here. How do I do it? I step. I step into my 12 to 6 lane. You understand what I mean? 12 to 6 o'clock. This line right here. I advance in. Everything stays on that line. Now, when I say in that lane, again, this would be an example of when it didn't work that way. I'm right here. I step, and instead of just turning and getting that lane, I step and this leg comes way out, and it makes me go, whoa, over here and be unstable. I don't want to be unstable. So wherever I am, boom, I get in the lane, throw the strike. Step, turn in the lane, throw the strike. Or just turn into the lane, get the strike. It's totally up to you. Step, turn, throw the strike, or do all at once. What are the advantages of each? Well, if I step and then turn, whoa, I could stop if I needed to. If I turn, that's a pretty big commitment. So I'm pretty much definitely going to be following through with that strike. Okay, so a lot of it is just kind of your choice, what feels better. But I want to be able to throw an off-angle kick. The level after that is to not just use this when the opportunity comes. And again, let's remember, maybe I did something and now my target is off angle, boom, and I turn and throw the strike. That was more of a side kick. Sorry, I should keep, hey, you, oh my gosh, she's over there, boom. I throw the strike there. Or maybe I'm throwing this round kick here and, oh my gosh, oh, look what she just did. My follow through took me all the way over here, boom, and now I can throw that strike over there. So that's opportunistic, but I can use this totally, make my own opportunities, right? I can be offensive. I'm in here, whoa, so this is a back kick with a spin. Spin is a word I don't really like. I prefer off angle. I'm off angle, I get straight, boom, and I throw the strike. So I would like to be able to do that to both sides. So even if I'm right-handed, I also need to be working it from the other side, where I'm in here, I step, turn towards the target, and go here. Remember, it's easier to think of your target, the bad guy. She's the one, oh no, she's going here. Yes, I could throw this, but arguably, boom. This off-angle strike is very, very powerful. Probably more powerful than your side kick.